Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, your host, giving you updates daily, weekdays really, on what is happening in crypto to make sure you stay on top of things. And boy, is there a lot. If you haven't had a chance to look at the cryptocurrency prices, they are on the up and up because of marginally lower than expected CPI prices. So we're going to look at that and plenty more. You're going to want to stay tuned for throughout the entire video. I've jam-packed it with stuff that I think you're going to find really relevant to you. So here we are with CoinGecko looking at the cryptocurrency market caps overall, 3.648 trillion or up 2.8%. Still is crazy to me that we can see a 2.8% increase on trillions of dollars. Absolutely massive. And it reminds me a lot of all of this talk about inflation, right? And people are kind of debate either way whether cryptocurrencies are an inflation hedge or not, because if we get higher inflation numbers, they tend to do badly. But realistically, if we zoom out, we think in the longer term, we should remember that this inflation is not really higher prices. That's what people think inflation is. Really, it's an inflating of the money supply, which will continually and expansively flow into cryptocurrency, the black hole of money. So that's exactly what we're seeing play out. And also just reminds me, it makes me think about how many different central banks there are around the world. It's not just the United States and our inflation of the money supply, but really what we see all over the world, more and more fiat, more and more dollars chasing goods, and a lot of that finally beginning to appreciate cryptocurrency, which seems to be what we're seeing on a corporate and jurisdictional level across different countries around the world, banks, you name it. We're going to look at some of that as we've been doing. But yeah, right now we have Bitcoin at $99,791.45. It's up 3.3% over the last 24 hours, and now positive on the week as well, 6% up on the week. So I feel bad, I guess, for the folks who might have panic sold out here thinking we were at a top. In fact, Bitcoin again just touched $100,000. So just further proof that this head and shoulders has been invalidated. And it looks like Bitcoin really wants to breach $100,000 level, that $100,000 level, and stay over it. We also have Ethereum at $3,429.61. It's up 6.1%. So almost double the amount that Bitcoin is up on the day. It's up 4.5% on the week. It took a bigger hit on the week, which is probably why we're seeing it climb more today. But yeah, it's really nice to see the ratio still looking nice and positive. But the big boy right now, the one that people are looking at, is XRP. It's up 15.2% over the last 24 hours, or 30% over the last 7 days at $3.08, right near its old all-time highs. Here was a post by Chris Dunn. Congratulations to XRP investors who bought on the CNBC pump for breaking even after 7 years. Yeah, right around that $3 level being the all-time high. So I guess mad kudos if you held on for all this time. I wonder if it will have some sort of correction. It looks really dang steep to me, almost a straight line up from this point right here to the top. Really, really wild. I guess grats if you bought at that exact time. I can't imagine there's many folks out there. But anyway, core inflation rate slowed to 3.2% in December, which was less than expected. This is driving risk assets, perhaps crypto, higher. But I think, as I keep talking about, what's really driving crypto higher is a lot of these headlines that keep coming out that we keep talking about. But still, this is certainly playing some role in the rates, in what we saw with the 10-year yield coming down and risk assets overall going up, stock markets getting a boost, and so on. As it says here on CNBC, the consumer price index increased a seasonally adjusted 0.4% on the month, putting the 12-month inflation rate at 2.9%, less than 3%. The annual number was in line with forecasts. The core CPI annual rate was 3.2%, a notch down from the month before and slightly better than the expected 3.3%. Shelter prices, which comprise 1/3 of the consumer price index weighting, rose by 0.3%, but were up 4.6% from a year ago, which seems really bad, these housing costs. But it is notably the smallest one-year gain since January 2022. And stock market futures surged following the release, while Treasury yields tumbled. Yeah, they fell a bit there. This is our meme of the day. Found this one on the cryptocurrency subreddit. Uh, yeah, I think this market definitely washed out some folks here. And this is pretty much the playbook for a lot of early traders in cryptocurrency. Bought here, took screenshot here, panic sold at the bottom. Yeah, lessons probably learned by many. Talking about the ETH BTC ratio, we had this posted by Greek Hodl on X. ETH/BTC is in free fall. He had posted this before we saw the climb that we saw today, where ETH is finally looking a little bit better than Bitcoin, but previously it has not been the case. ETH BTC is in free fall, he wrote, and I absolutely love to see it. I don't feel bad for ETH investors, not even a little. In fact, I'm enjoying every second of their downfall. They have zero excuses left. For years, we warned them that ETH is nothing more than a pre-mined, centralized poop coin. But instead of backing Bitcoin, the only truly fair and decentralized monetary system, they chose greed and speculation, and now they've lost. Let them hold their bags all the way to zero. I have a feeling that he's going to be eating his words quite a bit. And the reason for that is because, yeah, Bitcoin moves first. Bitcoin is getting a lot of that adoption and treasury allocation. But what do you think is going to come next? What is most likely going to be the next coin? What about when Bitcoin loses a lot of its volatility to the upside, the momentum to the upside, and people are seeking exposure to different assets that are trusted and are far beyond just greed and speculation? I guess if we speculate that programmable money might be something that's desired by so many different software creators, individuals, and entities around the world, then I guess we're ridiculous for thinking such. But yeah, anyway, Greek Hodl sharing our Bitcoin maximalist view of the day, I suppose. Still pooping on ETH. I mean, there's plenty more you could be posting about, buddy, rather than something that I think is actually quite decentralized and not pre-mined nearly to the degree of many other things. And certainly not pre-mined. It wasn't pre-mined. There were allocations that were certainly done, for example, to the foundation, token raising, and so on. But it's not like it was pre-mined, and certainly not a huge percentage of the total in existence at this time. Anyway, we will move on. This was a great article here on the Washington Post, titled "Elon Musk Isn't the Only Tech Leader Helping Shape the Trump Administration." And it does give us some signals that show us what kinds of voices are influencing Trump and his administration in the future direction of things such as cryptocurrency, technology overall, Silicon Valley, and AI. And it goes into how Mark Andreessen, so he is one of the co-founders of Andreessen Horowitz, the big venture fund who heavily invests in crypto. They invested in companies like Facebook, Airbnb, Coinbase, really a household name in Silicon Valley, and how Andreessen Horowitz is basically hanging out. He's like an undercover version of Elon Musk, who is supposed to be like the best buddy of Trump, as you see really in the news and a lot of the pictures, him influencing that way. But under wraps, undercover, we have Mark Andreessen out there kind of influencing him and his administration to move away and repeal a lot of the stifling that we've seen under the prior administration to further allow for more freedoms when it comes to things like cryptocurrency. So they've been meeting at Mar-a-Lago. There are many other tech leaders that are talked about in this article who are also making appearances at Mar-a-Lago. They talk about dinners. It kind of reminds me of 2017, 2018 crypto, and I would be invited to all these different parties. Surely not at the White House and all these fancy, lavish affairs. But yeah, folks meeting together to figure out how they can take advantage of cryptocurrency, but really in this case, kind of repeal a lot of these regulations. It's felt like a boot off the throat, Andreessen said in a podcast conversation with the firm's co-founder, Ben Horowitz, back in November. He is a member, an unpaid volunteer, he describes himself as, for the Department of Government Efficiency, or the Doge, the Doge Commission that is really talking about cryptocurrency and so many other things. super high caliber people that are involved here. People from Sequoia, Craft Ventures, Palantir, who are talking about things like this. There has been an effort in the Washington bureaucratic swamp to stifle innovation with more regulation and higher taxes. With support from many entrepreneurs who are thrilled to turn the page on the past 4 years, President Trump and David Sachs of Craft Ventures will safeguard free speech online, steer us away from big tech censorship, and develop a legal framework so the crypto industry can thrive in the United States. And it's not just for the crypto industry. Again, talking about AI, how it's been so woke oriented. Regulations made sure to make it woke. For example, one requiring that safeguards were introduced to AI, and before new models could be released, they would have to be presented before the government for review. Looks like that could be something that's going to be repealed very soon. I actually don't know that that's going to be great for AI, because I think that AI is absolutely something that is an existential crisis for humanity, and I don't. Well, we're here for the ride, right, guys? We're here for the ride with AI. But anyway, a lot of tech-friendly picks going to be around the White House influencing, and I think that's going to be overall very good. After FTX, we really saw, after the fall of FTX, we saw a real stifling of the industry of, look, we need to protect people. Let's create these regulations that really benefit these regulatory agencies so much and their purview of cryptocurrency. According to Paul Grewal, if bank regulators are willing to tell people to stand down from this legal business, what other legitimate legal activities are they willing to force banks to drop? And this is in reference to this Operation Chokehold 2.0 that we're hearing about. These letters that Paul Grewal shared on X that we covered last week, and they were related to banks receiving letters that were basically forbidding them from creating and offering cryptocurrency services, even basic ones, let alone more complex offerings to customers until the murky waters are clear or so on, but really definitely stifled the industry. So yeah, I think this is going to be a big win here. This administration does seem like it's going to make this deregulation a big priority. We're also hearing talks of this repealing of the SAB 21 related to banks. When they custody cryptocurrencies, they have to label those cryptocurrencies as liabilities. So on a balance sheet, you have assets, things that are good, and you have liabilities, such as debts, things that you owe that make that balance sheet less attractive. So here wrote Joe Consorti, if SAB 121 is repealed, then banks who want to hold Bitcoin can do so with substantially lower complexity and regulatory burden. Spot ETFs brought the institutions, and the repeal of SAB 121 would open Bitcoin ownership to every single US bank. 2025 is already insane for Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, if you're not seeing far into these kinds of comments, then I don't know what's wrong, because it's true. I mean, why as a bank would you want to worry about custodying it, figuring that out, infrastructure, so many other things, just to custody some Bitcoin, to offer some services to a few clients? But actually, it's not just a few clients. For example, we heard from BlackRock today. They were talking about how they're seeing significant interest in this Bitcoin ETF, and likely we'll be seeing an Ethereum ETF coming up soon afterwards. So I'm sitting quite happy and pretty with my ratio, regardless of whether it's up or down on the current day-by-day basis. I'm thinking a little bit longer term myself. Also, there was this section. I'm going to play this video. It might get taken down for copyright, in which case I will probably not get monetized on this video for a while, and then I'll have to cut this snippet out. But I think it is important that you hear it from his own words. So I'll play Donald Trump declaring his vision to make America the world capital, for crypto and Bitcoin, pledging to embrace industries of the future. Here you go,
This
guys.
onslaught at lower prices, I'm pledging today that in my second term, we will eliminate a minimum of 10 old regulations for every one new regulation.
Like that.
We'll be able to do that quite easily, actually. And instead of attacking industries of the future, we will embrace them, including making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin.
Scattered applause. They still don't get it. They still don't get this dang Bitcoin thing. So many folks, oh, they will. They will. And also further in repealing SAB 121, I like the words here put up on Altcoin Buzz, so I'll share this as well. If SAB 121 is repealed, it could significantly reduce the complexity and regulatory burden for banks wanting to hold digital assets. So not just Bitcoin, this is all digital assets, right? This move would open the door for all U.S. banks to own Bitcoin without the current regulatory headache. The changes could create a ripple effect, potentially unlocking new opportunities for financial institutions. This will also expand the reach of Bitcoin within the traditional banking system. Yes, the Trojan horse swallowing it from within. The push for change comes after the success of Bitcoin ETFs. They have already helped bring institutional investors into the crypto space. If the repeal of SAB 121 is enacted, it would take things a step further. This would allow Bitcoin to be seen as a more accessible and less risky asset for banks to hold. With fewer restrictions, banks could easily integrate Bitcoin into their operations. This will make it available for their customers while also boosting their portfolios. Also, we have Mr. Tim Scott here. He is a Republican senator who was recently nominated as the chair of the U.S. Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. And in this particular publication here, put out on banking.senate.gov, they're talking about the priorities of this committee coming forward here into this new year. And if we scroll down a little bit, we'll see this section right here, developing a framework for digital assets. So a top priority for this committee. Under Chair Gensler, the SEC refused to provide clarity to the cryptocurrency industry, which has forced projects overseas. Did we not say this was going to happen? Moving forward, the committee will work to build a regulatory framework that establishes a tailored pathway for the trading and custody of digital assets that will promote consumer choice, education, and protection, and ensure compliance with any appropriate Bank Secrecy Act requirements. So I guess OFAC isn't going away. The committee will also foster an open-minded environment for new, innovative financial technologies and digital asset products like stablecoins that promote financial inclusivity. Wow, I think it would be really cool to open up Bank of America and have USDC right on there, or whatever stablecoin I would want on there. It'll probably be Bank of America stablecoin, let's be real. They're kind of slacking on that. What's up, guys? Nice to see you. Hey, Quentin, good day. Validator showing up again. Thank you. Yo. No Name Bleach. Hey, I'm glad you appreciate the show and my presence here. That means a lot. I appreciate you here too. Daryl, nice to see you again. Happy New Year. And Ozzy, thanks for making it out today. Ozzy, a longtime watcher of the show as well. So also I found this for you guys, Malaysia. So now we got Malaysia in the picture. Malaysia's prime minister says Bitcoin and crypto would revamp the financial world. We should not sit idly by and wait and later be forced to do so after others have done it already. So this just screams FOMO. This is that FOMO that we're seeing from countries trying to adopt Bitcoin and crypto. So not only Bitcoin, but also setting their sights further down the horizon. So definitely want to see that happen quicker. We also have the state of Oklahoma, the latest to announce a bill for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And we can see here that the first reading will be on February 3rd, 2025. Florida has also been making head in trying to get their own treasury. We're hearing Texas interest. We've talked about countless others, including New Hampshire, North Dakota. More and more, you're in the minority if you're not considering a Bitcoin reserve allocation here. Also, this is really massive. It is Italy's largest. Yeah, thank you, Ozzy. I'm sorry, Mark, for reminding everyone to like the show. I appreciate that, Mark. Definitely hit the like if you're enjoying the show, guys. Happy to bring this to you guys. And it goes to show that you do care about it, and we'll help spread it to more folks so we can have a lively chat here for you guys. Italy's largest bank says it's preparing for potential Bitcoin demand from bigger clients. And there is a segment here on Bloomberg Crypto talking about this bank. So Intesa San Paolo, how they allocated $1 million to buy 11 Bitcoin, and how it might not seem like that much. The Italy's largest bank and the 27th largest in the world, putting $1 million into Bitcoin doesn't seem much, but you have to consider that they had to build out the infrastructure. They have to find the right way to custody these assets, such as Bitcoin, first before they can acquire more, kind of testing the waters first, and also signaling to their clients that they are embracing this path forward with digital assets, and signaling that, and kind of getting a feel to see how much demand there would be for this kind of product. So really huge to see from Italy. And it's not just impacting Italy. You can see they have 14.6 million customers in Italy, but they have 7.2 million, so about half as much in as many customers in Central and Southeast Europe. So really massive to see here coming out of this bank in Italy. And kind of going like back in time to cover some news related to BitMEX, Bitfinex. We'll start with BitMEX. They have to pay the big leverage exchange. They've been ordered in what seems to be the final act of the sentencing and all these court trials with BitMEX. They've been ordered, or rather their parent company, HDR Global Trading Limited, to pay a final fine of $100 million and 2 years of unsupervised probation. What is unsupervised probation? Seems like a paradox. I don't know. But anyway, they were previously trying to get by the government a fine of $417 million. It was not that much, although you had certain individuals, the heads of BitMEX, that included Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dillo, Samuel Reed, who each had their own separate agreements. They were each ordered to pay $30 million in penalties overall. So it seems to be the end, as it says here on Cointelegraph, of this. The sentencing appeared to mark the beginning of the end of U.S. criminal and civil cases against BitMEX and its executives after roughly 4 years of litigation. Hayes stepped down from his role at the crypto firm in 2020, surrendering to U.S. authorities in 2021 over the BSA, Bank Secrecy Act, violation allegations. And he continues to put out blog posts related to cryptocurrency, macroeconomics, and the lavish lifestyle that he lives, including skiing here and doing that over there. But I really enjoy his form of writing and expression and humor. So if you get a chance to check out the BitMEX blog, if it's still on there, I'm not even sure if that's where he posts his blog, but Arthur Hayes is still putting those out. You can probably find them on X or just Google that. Anyway, U.S. government also said that these funds from a 2016 hack should return to Bitfinex, a huge amount of Bitcoin. We're talking 94,643 Bitcoin, a good percentage of the overall Bitcoin in existence. This is in relation to a hack that was purportedly perpetuated by Ilya Lichtenstein and his wife Heather Morgan, aka Razzlecon, who were arrested in 2022. The Department of Justice seized this stolen Bitcoin that they had traced to their accounts, a total of 119,754 Bitcoin. I remember being around and covering this happening at the time in 2016, early on in my show with some of you guys who might have been here. And you can remember how things looked so bullish back in 2016. I was getting so hyped day after day covering the news, and suddenly this hack seemed to be the biggest one after the early one on Mt. Gox, and the price plummeted and stayed down in Goblin Town for quite some time before climbing into 2017. It was a rough time. It felt like a real punch in the gut to be holding Bitcoin and Ethereum at the time. However, Bitfinex did create this secondary token. They created a token that socialized monetary losses that were suffered by the exchange at the time, announced all accounts would lose 36% of their value. Users could either opt into receiving an equivalent amount of BFX token, BFX, to cover their losses, or upon choosing redeemable shares of iFinex, the parent company of Bitfinex. It seemed like a bad deal at the time, but 8 months later, people who opted to receive those tokens were made whole eventually. So it seems that these tokens that are being recovered now after this hack from the Department of Justice, I think it's actually good that the U.S. government is giving this back to Finex. It's being called stolen Bitcoin by many people, and I think it was stolen not just by the hackers, but then stolen by the Department of Justice rather than immediately returned to folks who had suffered losses. But Bitfinex had their plans, so I get it, with their equity and their token and so on. But folks probably will not be seeing much of these tokens. The Department of Justice did ask up till November of 2024 for people to share their own experiences and so on related to all of this. And it seems like they didn't deem that folks would be entitled to this Bitcoin. Bitfinex was going to be entitled to it. This seems like the right ruling to me. And yeah, really cool. Not in the hands of some government who likes to auction it off, some sort of agency who likes to do that. Although we may be seeing less of that with the new administration. We'll see if actions follow words, right? As I always say. I think it's actually better that the exchange gets it in this particular case. It adds to more liquidity and solvency on their exchange going forward here. I read this. I thought it was pretty dope. I would like to visit one day. Dubai plans to build a 17-story crypto tower in the Jumeirah Lake Towers district, dedicated to cryptocurrency and blockchain companies. The project is set for completion in 2027. It's going to feature AI innovation spaces, an NFT gallery, and blockchain-based operations for maximum efficiency. Hopefully they put like some mining or something at least on one floor. Just some sort of mining museum, I think, would really, really be dope. A bunch of different devices, a bunch of different monitors that are mining different coins, maybe even proof of stake nodes running that you can monitor on monitors. I think that would be really dope. What else could we fit on these floors? So much going on in crypto that it's really incredible to see. I think of Internet of Things space would also be remarkable as well. Anyway, really cool to see Dubai doing that. This was really striking. And the original post was titled "The Greatest Wealth Transfer is Here," and it's powered by Bitcoin Teddy here on X.com. You can see the median home price in Bitcoin for homes and the median home price in USD and the year here. In 2012, it would have cost you 50,616 Bitcoin to buy a medium priced home in the United States, whereas in 2024 it's only 4.3 Bitcoin, although the home prices have gone up, the median price now being $420,400. So just another signal of why you want to be part of the new economy, unless you want to get left behind. And for the most part, I hear, like, if you're just holding Bitcoin, you're expected to pretty much stay afloat, right? Your life might stay the same, your lifestyle, while other people who are not involved in the new economy will see their lifestyle drop. I mean, we're seeing it from things like AI, already hearing about Mark Zuckerberg getting rid of mid-level engineers, seemingly to replace them with AI, getting rid of fact checkers, manual fact checkers, instead implementing notes kind of like X.com. I actually think that's a really good idea. But yeah, we're hearing more and more companies, tech companies, who are not hiring. They're probably just waiting for people to level out or get fired or whatever, or get laid off eventually as AI continues to innovate. And I think it's going to impact people outside of just tech. More and more people losing jobs with driving. And then those jobs, people who lost those jobs in tech and driving, are going to try to seek other jobs, your jobs, right? So harder and harder to keep up with that. And just getting an allocation, a small amount in this, gets you that kind of personal infrastructure to be able to set yourself up with a good framework for understanding these things and getting involved with the right ones and not losing them, something that I always try to foster here on the show. And this comment here by Dividend Dude, just a reminder that Bitcoin, BTC, is an extremely, extremely glorified pyramid scheme. The price only rises because someone else is willing to pay more for it. Yeah, we've heard this one before. It's a non-productive asset, and this is also called the greater fool theory. Yeah, call it whatever label you want. You're clearly listening to Jamie Dimon, who we discussed yesterday, or Jamie Dimon called by many people. But I actually like who the comment was by Seek Purpose Succeed. Or it is a solution to the Byzantine general's problem, employing a Nash equilibrium to attack the dominant financial system and replace it with a currency that can't be debased and doesn't need banks, allowing humans to transact peer-to-peer around the globe without borders. I think it is important, however, that we keep in mind that fractional reserve Bitcoin could very well be a thing in the future. And as more and more of these banks offer these services, maybe even collude together, they might try to stop block explorers from showing us the true amount of Bitcoin or what is going on. They might try to make things more opaque, and we need to fight against that as we see these banks and nation states adopting Bitcoin and other things going forward. I think it is important for us to stay on this path that we've been on. So yeah, continue to fight the good fight with me, guys. Whatever you do, by sharing videos, by commenting, by getting involved in the community, by sharing your own ideas, thinking freely for yourself. And sometimes going against the herd is exactly what the herd needs in order to become a little bit more woke. And I'm talking about woke before it was co-opted into that. I'm talking about woke when it comes to financial freedom and what money really is. And so much else we've discussed on this show. So thank you guys so very much for joining me. 24 concurrent viewers. Thank you guys for staying tuned here and watching the whole show. Our viewer numbers are climbing day and day, and I really do appreciate that. That goes often as a big thanks to you guys who comment under the videos, engage in the chat, and do so much more. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the show. Ding the bell notification if you want to be here during these live streams and take part in the chat, which will be growing over time as we continue these daily weekday crypto videos. Thank you to those of you guys who I missed. Bit Warrior, one of our YouTube sponsors, to our other Patreon sponsors. Thank you, as always. Dedicate this show to you guys. And yeah, here's our quote of the day by Albert Einstein. Everything that is really great and inspiring is created by the individual who can labor in freedom. I think this is a great topper on top of what we talked about, this repealing of regulations. Trump earlier talking about for every one regulation that is created, 10 going away. I really hope that he honors that promise, and it looks like he will be with all the folks he is now giving his ear to quite closely at Mar-a-Lago and elsewhere. So take care, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show, and stay cryptic. Peace.